How's it going? Let's talk about Saddam Hussein, the Iran-Iraq War, and maybe some things you may not know. So let's get some context out of the way here. After the revolution, Iran was an incredibly weakened country. They recently underwent a revolution where Ayatollah Khomeini took power, and he's now encouraging other Muslim countries to turn to a Shia regime and have a revolution for themselves. Saddam Hussein just took power in Iraq and is a Sunni Muslim who despises Shias and now sees a weakened Iran and is ready to grab some territory there. So in 1980, Saddam threw the first punch by invading Iran in the south. The goal was to take over a bunch of the port cities along the border to control the transportation of oil. Swiftly after, Iran eventually retaliated and pushed back into Iraqi territory. Now, for about 2 years until 1982, there was a strong stalemate in the border. This led Saddam to move up north by the Kurds. From an ideological perspective, Saddam despised the Kurds. They lived in the north of Iraq and had a significant amount of oil under their feet. So as the war trickled up on the border of Iran and Iraq, Saddam set his sights on the first town to use chemical warfare on. It was the border town in Iraq known as Hajj Omran, where a lot of Kurds lived. He dropped mustard gas and it killed less than 100 people. It's important to note, though, that the U.S. was backing Iraq since the beginning of the war. Right, as we remember, in 1979, when Iran revolted against the U.S. and its own country, they parted ways in a very vicious manner. So 2 months later, after the chemical weapons were used, the CIA reported on them, right? And they advised Ronald Reagan to talk to Saddam Hussein and make him less inclined to use them in the future, but still publicly back Iraq. So did this appeasement strategy work from the U.S.? The short answer is absolutely not. In 1984, 2,500 casualties were caused by mustard gas at Hasnu Island. Soon after, in 1986, the U.S. came out and declared that Iraq was using chemical weapons. And in 1988, we saw the biggest amount of casualties ever on a battlefield from chemical warfare. It was the Battle of Halabja, and 20,000 Iranians were killed with mustard gas and nerve agents. So in 1988, the UN and the U.S. called for a mandatory ceasefire between the two countries, which ended the war. This left both the countries in ruin and stopped the use of chemical weapons. But I have a question. Was this acted too little and too late by the UN and US? And lastly, what's in this cup? Cheers.